Leeds University did some research in 17,000 companies and found that the presence of just one woman on the board, the company was 20% less likely to go bankrupt. I mean, that's really empowering when you think of that. You think, rather than having women on the board as part of a quota, which is what they're doing in Norway, they've done that, and it's been very successful to have. If you have a company on the stock exchange, you must have 40% of your board members be female. They're looking at that in Australia. They're talking about that in France. Because at the rate we're going, it'll be 50 or 60 years before we actually have the change, because it's happening so slowly. Are we using our influence? I don't think we do, because I don't think all women are aware of the power that they have. It's only when you get with other women and you see what others are doing and you hear the stories. I think there's something left over from patriarchy in terms of being given permission. There's so much in our culture of, am I allowed to do this? And can I, are we allowed to be members of the cabinet? No, we're not. There's so many areas where women are held back that I think now we have to give ourselves permission. Marianne Williamson here, I'm sure many of you are familiar with her wonderful books. She said women need to be outraged more. The rise of the feminine is not just about women. It isn't just about women. It's about valuing those feminine qualities of caring and compassion. And it's about balance and partnerships. Caring economics, something that I studied with Dr. Rian Eisler, who's author of a book called The Wealth of Nations and The Chalice and the Blade, scholar, amazing woman, 80 years old, and she demonstrates in her book how many companies and corporations have brought caring and compassionate policies into business. And what she said is that we measure the things that the government does, we measure the legal economy, we measure the market, every single market transaction. We measure it, we counter it, we value it. If you're not measuring and countering, you're not valuing. This is what we don't measure. Everything in the natural world, the volunteer sector of community and the household, homemaking, child rearing, it's not counted, it's not measured, and therefore it's not valued. It's this invisible economy. And I know I've spent, we all have, as women, time doing the home and then get on with the real work. That is the real work. Because without that, the world wouldn't work. It underpins everything, but it doesn't have a financial value. Switzerland have measured, because in GDP you're only measuring the market transactions, Switzerland have measured what the household economy would be worth, and it's 70% of GDP. It would cost $140,000 a year to replace a housewife in America. So there's a real value in there, and this is the beginning of showing people that this has an absolute value. What Rian Eisler talks about is needing a cultural transformation to create this new economics. And she said, what we have in this patriarchy is a way of domination where one gender is more important than another, one race, one religion is more important than another. There's a hierarchy, it's top-down control, whereas on the other side of the spectrum, on the right, mutual respect, collaboration, partnership. And it's kind of masculine and feminine, so the worst expression of this is narcissism. That's the worst expression. The only expression that we can see is the Nordic countries, where they have a 100-year experiment in, you could call it socialism, but it's not quite. But these are the countries that are the best places to live and also making in the World Economic Index in the top 10. So we need to shift and create this culture change. Women's skills are needed. Women have an innate ability to compromise and concede things, and that's exactly what's needed in peace negotiations, and no women are involved. When they did that with the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I was in South Africa at the time, they'd been negotiating, I think, 12 years, and they brought the women in. And they got some, a peace settlement. 3 emerging forces in this century which will change the economic outlook of the whole globe: women, the weather, and the web. And the change that we're bringing about into business helps men too. There's a wonderful book called Women Mean Business. And in there, Aviva Wittenberg-Cox talks about all the companies that are realizing to keep the female talent, they need to change the way they have their companies organized. And in making the companies more female-friendly, the men are enjoying it too, because they get to be dads and parents in supporting women being mothers and businesswomen. Two worlds where women of influence work. In the corporate world, corporations were designed by men for men to leave home and go out to work. They're not designed by women and for women. So we're tinkering with a system that doesn't work. So there's a mass exodus from corporate life because people are getting burned out. Twice as many women are leaving to start up their own thing. You know, this is a whole big trend. And motherhood is not supported in corporate life. In America, senior women executives, 50% of them are childless. That's incredible. Very different in France. If you remember, Ségolène Royal, who was running for president, had 5 children. Very unusual. But France is one of the #1 countries where they have a social public policy that supports parenthood. The home embodies everything about the feminine archetype. Mother love, nurturing, nourishment, caring, compassion. And these are the things that we now need to value rather than invisible and they just happen. We need them. We need them to run the world and we need them to run homes. There is no place like home. It's the place where we go for spiritual renewal, and that's what we need now, that stillness. And this is where we need to be slow. I haven't got time to tell you the whole story, but I was thinking, how do I tell people what I've been doing for the last few years when I don't know what I've been doing? How can I verbalize it? And as I had that question in my mind, I ended up walking around into a bookstore, to a shelf, pick up the book. You know, we've all done that. It was called The Slow Guide to North Yorkshire. You just love it. And I thought, it's exactly what I've been doing. I've been being slow. The Yorkshire work ethic is, my friend died from Yorkshire too. You're gritty northerners, this strong work ethic, you just get it done, you force it. And it's so deeply ingrained in me that it has taken me years to work out about the allowing. Just to let things happen, not just to let things slide, but allowing things to happen so that my keywords are really grace and ease. So home is the new business center. I mean, Anita Roddick started her empire from the kitchen table. Laura Ashley started it from a kitchen table. So many things are started by women from kitchen tables. In fact, there are networks called that. And technology is an aid for us to do that. It gives us a freedom. It gives us a promise of having much better work-life balance when we just center ourselves at home and run the world from home. So, in Feng Shui, you are your home. The home is the center of everybody's personal universe. So if you're here as a Feng Shui practitioner, this is what you will be helping people do. And I went to a very interesting presentation last night. Does anybody heard about heart math? It was the heart math guy was in London, and what he was talking about, I've been on the heart math machine some years ago, is that the heart has the greatest intelligence in the body and it can be measured as a field. And so when we're in coherence, we have this heart energy that moves out, and that creates stillness and slowness, compassion and love and healing. And we can create that inside, and that's exactly what we need to do at home. It's the heart of our lives to create that coherence in our own homes so that when you have that peaceful home, you don't have to worry about what's going on out there, because out there is only what's in here. So if we work on our home, the heart of our life, our own heart, our own self, and we have that peaceful coherence and resonance around us, that's all we need to do for the planet, for peace on the planet. Because if we're doing that, that is peace. Peace is not out there. It's created from within, and we can create it from home. And in Feng Shui that everything must work. I've been doing another clutter clearing. I've been doing it for 6 weeks in my own home, and a deeper, deeper, deeper level. I even had the housekeepers go to the cupboard above the wardrobe with the Dyson and the tea tree oil, and going into the farthest corners that I can get into, and things that I've let stay before, nothing, taking no prisoners this time. It's all going. In fact, Morel found a painting. Those awful paintings. Why don't you just get rid of them, I said. Turns out one of them was worth £15,000. Just gone off to the auctioneers. So, and I got some money. The stories are always there about getting money from clutter clearing, but it wasn't about that. It was about the quality of vibration and resonance that I was creating every corner of my life. So the role of Feng Shui, there's 3 things here. It's supporting people in creating the home as the center of their universe. That's what we can do. The very center of everything. It's not like the home, get all your feng shui right, get your crystals there, and then there's life and work out there. They're so deeply connected, they are the same thing. So everything in our home, everything counts. We need to support women in fulfilling their potential, becoming empowered, self-care, balance, slow, allowing. And self-care is a really important one. You see, this is what I do on my women's retreats. I do women's wellness retreats. I do business wisdom retreats. I've done a lot of coaching with women around money and business enterprise. And it's amazing how hard women can be on themselves and how, you know, I still do it. Just like having a cup of tea. Oh, somebody's coming. Get up and look busy. As if we can't have those few moments when we're doing nothing. And do you know what? When I'm doing nothing, I'm doing a lot. I am. I was blackberry picking this week. I was making jam, thinking I should be writing this presentation. I'm doing the blackberries instead. But I knew I had to do the blackberries because it was sunny. It was the season. Next week, they may have been rained off. I had to do it now. And I had the choice of blackberry picking or this presentation. And I did the blackberry picking, but I thought, you know, I'll do both at the same time. Because while I'm picking blackberries, I'll ask, what do I need to share with people? What's my guidance? Send me wisdom? So I did both at the same time. The jam making, I'm thinking, and I'm being in the inquiry of what is it I need to do. So I'm making it easier, because rather than, I can make it hard, and a lot of my life I have made it hard. But I've been training myself now to make it easier. The third one, support your home becoming the new business centre. Because it is. This is, you know, because technology is leading us there. Also, I think we'll be growing our own food as well. That's another presentation. So, I mean, think about this. I don't know whether we've got time to do, we haven't got time, but think about this. We need to release the pressure in the house on all the multi-activities. It used to be dining room, living room, and a couple of bedrooms, kitchen. Now, you know, you've got older children at home, you've got 1 or 2 enterprises at home, you have to manage that because homes have to be rethought. You've got to cut down the electronic overload. People forget, they leave their Wi-Fi on all night. Why would you do that? People forget. Turn it off, you know, otherwise we're overloaded during the day and we're overloaded needlessly at night. And enhance the sacred space, the nature of it, the harmonics of the house. So 3 take-homes for you. Feminine wisdom and collaboration is really what's important in the world. It's coming in, and it's important that we value caring. Women, you need to value your caring. Everything you do in terms of cooking and taking care and caregiving, you have to value it. There's no doing it grumbling or just doing it and then being, you know, I didn't look after myself. You must value it because nobody values something that you don't value yourself. You absolutely have to value it because then we enhance its currency and its value. If we value it ourselves, other people will value it. Balanced leadership, the male and the female together, all aspects of life. Feng Shui, home, it absolutely is the heart of life. Gina Lazenby, healthy home, you can just about see it in the light. This is my place of wisdom. You know, this is where I get my answers, and this is where I run retreats. I'm working on a curriculum of flow, and I'm doing finish enterprise coaching in the new year. So I will pass round this, and if you want to leave me your email address, I'll give you details of the program. I'm doing a retreat in January, and I can give you details of that. And this is me cooking, bread and butter pudding, because it's Yorkshire. The women are gathering. This is a picture of some of the beautiful women who come on retreats in my home. And here I am. I've got a blog called Woman at Large. Off to California soon to see Rianne Eisler. I am definitely at large. And find me on Facebook, friend me there. And it's been, I know I've run over time. I'm not quite sure how many minutes, but I'm grateful to be here. And thank you very much for listening.